Hello, friends. Hello, everyone, and welcome all of you to Sky High Symposium 55th episode. I'm very happy to share that we are into this 55th episode today. Since last various months, we are doing this activity, and I'm happy that very new and young members are coming, like Apurvi, Karishma, both of them very young and they are coming for the first time at ICI platform, and I'm happy that they are coming and sharing their very valuable knowledge. So welcome Apurvi and Karishma. Again, I am also welcoming our very new moderators also. They are also coming for the first time. I can see Karishma, Vaishali, and Manasvi coming for the first time as a moderator on ICI platform. And my dear old friend Preksha Jain, she is regularly coming and since last various years. So welcome all of you and my young dear friends also who have joined this series. Uh, Friends, since last more than 1 year, we are putting our efforts to give the platform an opportunity to various members, our women fraternity. It is not about young or old. Various members are taking a leap in their career also, coming from profession, coming from industry and wants to come in practice, coming from practice and wants to join industry. They have taken the break and wants to rejoin the profession. So this is the platform for everyone. You can be speaker, you can be moderator, or you can be the audience also. And I'm very happy we have given opportunity to more than say 400 members so far, right, in various different areas, and of the participants have gone to lakhs of members if we all combine all together the numbers. Every time 500 plus 1,000 members are joining the program. The today's topic is also very important and relevant in today's time, because audit trail is mandatory from 1st April 2023, and various legal issues are there. So this will be dealt by Apurvi in very practical manner. Again, the self-esteem and the personal traits are very important in today's time in all walks of life, whether it is personal or professional. And that is what Karishma will be taking. So, with these words, I once again welcome all of you, and I'm sure this will be a very helpful and valuable session for each one participant. I also request all of you to please come forward and take the opportunity as a speaker, as a moderator. This is the platform for each one of us. And once you go through, once you learn, it is a learning opportunity for all of you also. If you become a speaker or moderator, you have to at least learn something so that you can actually share the knowledge. And that is why it's an opportunity to learn also, and learn a lot from for self as well as for others. So with this, once again, I welcome all of you and look forward for all your interaction and valuable support. Thank you so much.
I would like to introduce Apurvi, first speaker. She's going to take the topic on audit trails, legal and technical aspects. She is born and brought up in Indore. She's completed her CA and MCom from Indore. She's currently pursuing company secretary course and presently working with Z-Learn Limited as an accounts manager. In her family, there's a husband who works with Bombay High Court, and she has 2 kids. I would request Apurvi to take the topic.
So before Apurvi takes up, I also would let you know that the membership fees is due for payment for the year 23-24 from 1st April 2023. And this year we have also initiated KYM process, that is know your member. So once you pay the membership fees on SSP portal, you have to go through this KYM process and share your signed document, so that every year the bank also has KYC process, which is mandatory, and that is what is also applicable at ICAI. So if you have not done this KYM process or not renewed it membership fees, I request all of you to please do immediately as early as possible. If you are going to do tomorrow, I request you to do it today. And if you find any difficulty in this, is a very simple process. And if you find any difficulty, please feel free and reach out to me or anyone, so that your process becomes very simple. But nonetheless, don't delay it and renew it right away. So I request now Apurvi to please take up.
Thank you, everyone. A very warm welcome and a good afternoon to the members of ICI. And a very thankful, I'm very thankful to PT ma'am so give us the youth and the new performance to give this platform and to give me an opportunity to present. I try to do the justice with this the dry topic to make them very entertaining and make them understand what are the amendments over here. So I am just presenting my presentation. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. You make the in the presentation mode. Yes.
Okay. So we will start our topic, that is the changes in the accounts and the audit rules of the Companies Act 2013. So recently the MCA, the Ministry of the Company Affairs, have come with a new notification which is applicable from the 1st April 2023, in which the MCA is suggesting us that every company shall use an accounting software. Accounting software we are using at present, all the companies, LLP firms, all are using accounting software. But now the MCA wants we have to use the accounting software which has the following features. The first is that the recording of audit trail of each and every transaction. The accounting software जो हम use कर रहे हैं, that should have the feature like if you are selling any goods, this is the one transaction. You are receiving the payment, this is the single another transaction, and then you are depositing that amount into the bank, this is the separate transaction. So the audit trail of each and every transaction should be have a audit trail. This is the first feature which the accounting software should have. The second feature, the creating an audit log of each change made in the books. If any person is entered any transaction, after that if you are deleting it, if you are editing it, if you are modifying it, addition, split, आप कुछ भी करते हो, that should have the changes made in the books. The third feature which have the recording of date when the changes were made. This is very important. If the log is created by the accounting software, that accounting software should also maintain when the changes were made, because it happened sometimes कि fiscal year over होने के बाद में भी the people are doing the entries which is pertaining to the last financial year. So it is very important कि जो भी transaction है, the changes which are made, it should always have the recording date of the changes. And the last features which accounting software should have is to ensuring the audit trail cannot be disabled, because if we come, there is a Tally. So it is a very popular accounting software. Like Tally has both the function to enable and disable the audit trail. So now the MCA comes with the notification we have to use the accounting software which does not have the disable function of audit trail. So this is very important point to note that we have to now onwards the MCA wants we have to use that accounting software which does not have the disable button of the audit trail, because every accounting software inbuilt has the features to maintain the audit trail and the audit log, but there are the buttons to disable. So the company, purposely disable that function so that, they cannot able to the malevolent intention with the entries which they are doing. So this is the notification. Now we are moving towards the, so we are always, I'm saying audit trail maintain karo, audit log maintain karo. But the important question is, what is audit trail? Audit trail is simply a chronological record of the changes that have been made to the data. आप कुछ भी changes कर रहे हो, उसका sequence you have to maintain into the accounting software. Now it has the 5 questions of the audit trail. जब audit trail बनता है, the date of the any changes to your books. I'm telling you, keeping you again things because previously हमारा 31st March का closure हो जाता है. When the statutory auditor comes, they know that these are the, company comes to know that these are the, adjustment we need to do to with the malified intention. So they did the backdated entries. So the date of changes. Now it is very important. जो भी transaction हम accounting software में enter करें, now it is the permanent forever, because even if you are deleting the transaction, even if you are deleting, it comes the date of changes. उसमें आपको log में पता चलेगा कि this data is deleted, which date it is deleted. So even if you are deleted, the data remains permanent. So the important features of audit trail is the date of changes to your books. हमको पता चलना चाहिए कि आपने ये change कब किया है आपके accounting software में. कोई भी each and every transaction should have the date of change into your books of account. The second, the name of the user who made the changes, because in when as an auditor we go, there is a multiple users into the accounts team. Say there is no accountability. Who made these changes? Who have the malified intention? Who is doing with the fraudulent mindset? So now the IP address is also tracked on the audit log. कि किस user के किस computer से ये changes हुए हैं. So the second important is the name of the user and the IP address who made the changes, so that we can make him accountable and responsible, and we come to know what is the intention of that person of doing this thing. The type of the changes or the events. In the transaction, you can do many things. If you can delete the transaction, you can split, like if you want to split into the non-current or the current as an investment, even if you want to transfer the journal entry. So many type of the changes you can do into the fixed assets register. So what type of the changes is made into the accounting transaction, we come to know through this audit trail, so that we come to know what is the the reason why they are doing, why they are splitting. Some are the transactions which are the related party transactions, which they don't want to show as the related party transactions. So they are making the changes. So we come to know what are the type of the changes you are doing into the books of accounts. Now the name of any customer or vendor related to the changes, because nowadays vendor में आप बहुत बड़े the fraud is happening, because आप IBC, any vendor is going and apply IBC में, so they want to know कि हम लोग जो भी changes ये they, after once the any vendor or creditor is going for the IBC petition, they made the changes into the vendor's ledger. So for this is also the reason कि हमको पता चलना चाहिए आप backdated entries जो कर रहे हो किसी particular customer और particular vendor में ही क्यों कर रहे हो. So the audit trail also knows us the name of the customer and the vendor. The last thing, any original transaction date and amount that I am telling you, kindly make a note of it. कि every original transaction which is entered permanently. Because ये आने के बाद में every accounting software अगर आप delete भी करते हो, even if you deleted that transaction, तो भी वो permanent रहेगा, because the audit log will tell you this transaction is deleted on this date by this person, and this is the type of change which is made. So this is the 5 contents of the audit trail, which you let us know what are the chronological record of the changes which have been made into the data. Now, what are the contents of the audit trail record? always remember there are the 4 W's which the MCA, the ICIA also suggested us. You always focus on the 4 W's. The 4 W's is when, where, what, and who. So it is again same thing. आपको ये जब भी accounting software का features देखना है, whether you are going with the SAS, whether you are going with the SAP or the Tally, ये 4 W's आपके audit trail में होने ही चाहिए. Then it becomes the audit trail or then it becomes the audit log. नहीं तो otherwise कोई meaning नहीं है उसका. When, where, what, and who. I hope I am very clear in this. When, the date and the time when the transaction was entered, deleted, and modified. So if we come to know koi bhi data आप करो कब करो, I'm again telling you because the lot of entries and adjustments are entered after the quarter closure. The sum of the listed companies in which the LR was done, but even closure, quarterly closures, they are doing the backdated entry. Even of the closure of fiscal year, they are doing the backdated entries for adjustments. So when the entries, even transaction entered, edited, deleted, or modified, whatever, when it is made, where it is made, I'm telling you, आप किसमें changes कर रहे हो? You are making the changes in the payment, you are making the changes in the deposits, borrowing, किसमें? P&L में impact कर रहे हो? बैलेंस शीट में इम्पैक्ट करो, किस टाइप के ट्रांजैक्शंस में आप चेंजेस कर रहे हो एंड व्हाट टाइप ऑफ द चेंजेस यू आर डूइंग. एडिशन कर रहे हो, स्प्लिट कर रहे हो, ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो. सो व्हाट इज द चेंजेस व्हिच यू आर डूइंग. And last, I am telling you, it is very important to create the accountability and responsibility. हमको IP एड्रेस में पता होना चाहिए कि ये चेंजेस किसने किए हैं, so that we can make him accountable and come to know the intention of the user. कि भाई आपने ये चेंजेस किए क्यों है, क्या इंटेंशन है, and what is the backup of behind this. If it is you doing with some agreement or some documentation, so please provide us as an auditor. So these are the contents of the audit trail, which is very important. Now they are come up with the 4 W's. The MCA is come with the 4 W's. Now it is very important why everyone is focusing on the audit trail. हमको audit trail में करना है. MCA last year भी आया था with the intention कि हमको we need to make it compulsory. Previously it was optional to create an audit log. But why they are focusing? MCA is again and again focusing for the audit role, and why they come up with this amendment and the notification कि अभी तो आपको अमेंडमेंट कंपलसरी ही हो गया है फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 2023 से. The major objective behind the notification, as I am as an individual, I can identify these are the basic pillars and the basic objectives. Lot of objectives the MC has behind it, but these are the main objectives which I on the basis of my research, on the basis of my study, I come up with these objectives. The first is, the Modi ji is also saying digitized India, digitized India. So similarly, now again, they are forcing us for the digitization in the accounting system. They are, they want to stop all these manual accounting system, manual accounting system, everything, band karo. Now digitized India, now the digitization into the accounting. They are pushing us into shifting into the cloud-based SaaS accounting system, real-time accounting system. Even if you don't have, they offer you, so you can take the outsourced services for these services. Now into the market, kitne अच्छे software आए हैं after this amendment, because everyone knows last year जब discussion हुआ था, the Tally Prime, Zoho Books, everyone knows this will come and this will give a boost to their accounting software. All accounting softwares are working on it from the last 1 year because they know they want to digitize the accounting system. Okay. The second objective, as per my research, is that being into the more transparency and improve the compliances. क्या होगा हम digitized कर देंगे तो? Now the important one more step ahead. अगर आप digitization करते हो, it will lead to the transparency and improve the compliance. Every investor wants कि मुझे मैं कहीं पैसा लगा रहा हूँ, I need transparency into the your accounting, whether it may be the loss, whether it may be the the defaulters, whether it's anything, but I need the confidence of the accounting which you are doing. अभी investors हुए या कोई भी person है, how they get the confidence on your company, on your accounting. Auditors को भी अगर हमको as a company बताना है, confidence दिलाना है, so it is important, it is very important to be transparent and to have the compliance, so that they have a confidence into the market, they have a confidence on our accounting, and they can give us the report which is the best to any investor. Now the investor get a confidence and they can make a money on you. The third is the control the backdated entries after the fiscal year is closed. So it is very important because the statutory auditors struggling for that part, because they don't know without audit trail log what are the additions they are made. They are edited a lot of adjustment entries at the fiscal year. So auditors, for the sake of the convenience of the auditors, investors, stakeholders, they come up with the digitized accounting and to control all these nuisance which is into the market of the backdated entries. It is time to change the era, and it is time to stop making the fraudulence. Now the last objective is the detection and the prevention of errors and frauds on the interest of the stakeholder. हम देखते हैं बहुत सारे अभी भी हम वही अकाउंटिंग एंट्री करें, गलत कर दिया, ओके डिलीट करो, अगेन एंट्री पास करो, मैं वापस पास करता हूँ, पोस्ट करता हूँ. All these the very old school method is still going on. Now we have to stop this and we have to digitize ourselves. Error, along with the error, we are also the companies are doing these changes with the malafide intention, and the fraudulent things is also happening. So to detection and the prevention of errors and fraud on the interest of stakeholders, these are the basic objectives behind the notification for these audit trails. Now moving to the next topic is the advantages of the audit trail. I am finding these advantages for the per se of the auditors as well as for the management who is sitting on the management level, because all these transactions are doing by the one level below. Even if you are sitting at the management, you are not punching the transactions, you are not doing all these errors. So for these are the advantages of the audit trail on the per se of the auditors and for the management. So if you are changing any transaction or deleted, so you can easily find, because there now we have an option of audit log and the audit trail. Because of the MCA notification, we can easily and quickly can find what are the items which you have the companies are deleted or edited. So it is very easy for the auditors now and the management for now. They can easily assist the finding the addition or the deletion in the transaction or any modification. Next advantage is tracking the activity by each users. So now the company I told you, because of as they are the multiple users in the account. So now we can track them by the each user. So auditor and the management both can identify this is the person who is doing this transaction with what intention. So they can make him accountable, him or her accountable and responsible. So this is the advantage for the auditors and the management. The third advantage is identifying the users who made the errors. Some person is doing with the intention of doing the fraud, making the adjustment, but some are doing errorly because they don't have the lack of knowledge. They don't know. They are having a old school method. गलती हो गई, ठीक है, गलत एंट्री कर दी, डेबिट का क्रेडिट कर दिया, क्रेडिट का डेबिट कर दिया, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का पेमेंट किया, डाल दिया उठा के किसी और एक्सपेंस में, ठीक है, हमें क्या है, हमने एंट्री करनी है, we need to complete our task. So this is the also mindset of the some users. So now we can pull them up. कि भाई अभी ये सब नहीं चलने वाला, यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल। नाउ ये जो एरर्स वगैरह आप जो करते थे, नाउ यू हैव टू स्टॉप दिस प्रैक्टिस. सो नाउ द मैनेजमेंट मेक दैट पर्सन अकाउंटेबल. And again, the same individual as well as their team make them accountable, because in the organization there are the team for the fixed assets, there is a team for the taxation, the team for a payable, so we can make them team also accountable. Now, keep the last advantage is keeping informed as to who is accessing the books and what tasks they are performing. So keeping, we have to, we make them aware of कि ये जो आप चीजें कर रहे हैं, ये सब चीजें अभी आपको नहीं करनी है, and your performance is always based on the audit trail, because the audit trail is always come up with the user IDs. So these are the basic advantages of the audit trail to maintain the audit trail for the per se of auditors and for the per se of the company's management. Both are get a win-win situation because of this MCA notification. Now moving towards the next slide, the applicability of the audit trail. This is very important. Most of the people are still confused. LLP पे applicable होगा, firm पे applicable होगा, on which it is applicable. So I am telling you the applicability of this MCA notification is applicable on all the public and private companies, including small companies, including Section 8 companies, which are the non-profit making organizations, is also applicable on the one-person company, listed company, nidhi company, or a company is owned by the government of India, state government companies. All companies are come on the under the notification of MCA. No companies are get exemption. Even अगर आपकी कोई कंपनी है जो कि फॉरेन कंपनी है, which is defined in the act, तो I always let you know कि ये फॉरेन कंपनी म्यूटेंटिस पे एप्लीकेबल है, तो इसके ऊपर भी ये MCA का नोटिफिकेशन एप्लीकेबल होता है. So even if you are maintaining the standalone financial statement or consolidated financial statement, दोनों केस में आपको ऑडिट ट्रेल को मेंटेन करना है. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि हमारी ग्रुप कंपनी है, हम ग्रुप कंपनी है तो वी आर मेकिंग दिस प्राइवेट लिमिटेड का एक सेपरेट अकाउंटिंग बनाते हैं, इसका अलग अकाउंटिंग बनाते हैं, तो हम तो कंसोलिडेशन कर रहे हैं, सो वी आर नॉट एप्लीकेबल फॉर कंसोलिडेशन. नो बॉस, nowadays even if you are making a standalone financial statement or you are making a standalone, आपको you have to follow this MCA का notification. हाँ, this is not applicable on LLP or sole proprietorship, etc. But it is applicable on all the companies. So this is very important, the applicability of the audit trail, because lot of questioning are there कि क्या हमको LLP पे applicable होगा, sole proprietorship firm है उसके ऊपर applicable होगा. So don't get confused. It is applicable on all type of companies. आपका किधर भी ब्रांच रहने दो, फॉरेन कंपनी होने दो, एनपीओ होने दो, या स्टैंड अलोन होने दो, कंसोलिडेटेड होने दो, गवर्नमेंट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की कंपनीज होने दो, all the companies are now covered into this MCA का notification. So I hope it is very clear for everyone the applicability of audit trail on the all public and private limited companies, including small, unlisted, listed companies. This is very important so that everyone is come to know that the applicability. Don't include LLP and sole proprietorship form. Now, what is the time period to keep the record of audit trail? I mean, audit trail, because it is a very huge data. आप कोई भी छोटा चेंजेस कर रहे हो, असेट में कर रहे हो, लायबिलिटी में कर रहे हो, P&L में कर रहे हो, it is very huge data to maintain the audit trail. So how many years, what is the time period to keep the record of this audit trail? So the section 128 of the subsection 5, which define you have to keep this audit trail for a minimum period of years effective from the applicability. Abhi applicability is from the April 1st, 2023. So from the 1st April 2023 to the 8 years, you have to maintain this audit trail, because we know when the scrutinies are going tax authorities also, now income tax authority, GST, direct tax, indirect tax, any authority, if they want, the companies now have to provide this audit trail, because when there are a lot of assessments, lot of jurisdiction is going on, but when the company says this is the transaction which we did, but we don't have the confidence on the companies, even if they are submitted the books of accounts, because they are modified books of accounts. Now, for this purpose, the income tax authority or GST, both the direct and indirect authority, can ask for the audit trail also for the previous 8 years. So you have to keep the records of audit trail for the next financial years, which is starting from the 1st April 2023. So be alert and be ready, so that we can ask for the audit trails and the log. Moving to the next topic. So now, I don't know, till this time we are discussing with the MCA notification, what are the amendments, what is the objective, advantages of the audit trail. These are the the notification, uska applicability, time period. This is the amendments which come. But now I want you to relate all these changes with our basic rules of Companies Act. So now, the move forward, we will discuss what is the background, what are the amendments in the companies and the account rules, Rule 3 and the Rule 11 of the company's audit and the auditor rules, because they are correlated with each other. The MCA notification as well as these are the amendments. Now we have to correlate all these sections with the essay, जो हमारा essay आया हुआ है, the amendments and the rules all have to learn together, and we have to study together, so that we can get a best out of all these things. If we learn all these 3 different parts, and we can correlate and we can make a best out of. So now moving to give you the basic backgrounds of the Companies Act rules and accounts rules and the audit and the auditor rules and their amendment, which is related with the MCA notification to maintain the audit trail. So the background, I'm just giving you quickly the background, so that we can quickly freshen up our Companies Act section, and then we can come up with the amendments into these sections which are related with the MCA notification. The section 128, it is very simple, which says you have to prepare and you have to keep the books of accounts by every financial year, either at your registered office or at any place where the board of directors decides. This is the section 128. This is the section 128, which is a very basic section. Now it says books of accounts हमको बनाना है and रखना है. So what is the books of accounts, which defines by the section 2 and subsection 13? The books of accounts has the 4 parts. The books of accounts, any sum of money which you receive or you expended. तो money आपने जहाँ पे पैसा लगाया और खर्चा किया. All sales and purchases of goods and services both, and assets and liabilities of the company. And 4th is the cost records. आप payroll का करते हो, fixed assets maintain करते हो. These are the cost records of the register, stock inventory register. So books of accounts includes the 4 parts: money received and expended, sales and purchase of goods and services, assets and liabilities of the company, and the cost records. Cost records includes fixed assets, payroll register, like that, the all inventory cost record. Now the section 143, because इसमें भी amendment है और यही amendment MCA को support करता है, MCA notification को support करता है. That's why I am revising these sections. These are the very basic sections. इसमें amendments है. The 143 subsection 3, that is the power and the duties of the auditors and auditing standards, in which the auditors can report about these audit trail and comment on the books of accounts. So यहाँ पे हमारा जो auditors का जो power है, now this is the time for the create a dominance in the market. Now this will give and right and the power for the auditors to report for this non-compliance of MCA notification, non-maintenance of the audit trail. So this is also the amendment which gives the dominance into the market to the auditors. Now I'm going into deep diving into all these transactions. What is the amendment in the rule 3? The rule 3 of the accounts rule. अभी तक हमें क्या बोला था? Now the books of accounts should be available in the electric mode, should remain accessible for the subsequent reference. अभी तक सिर्फ इतना ही mention था in the rule 3. Abhi they have inserted and substituted the word which I have highlighted at all times. Now the MCA wants or the audit rules wants that your the electronic mode books of accounts should remain accessible at all the times. जब auditor चाहेगा तब they can go and access in the books of accounts anytime, because they want you the audit, they want that the company, you don't make all these frauds by doing the backdated entries with the malified intentions, because now you have to maintain and available your books of accounts all the times. The all the time is highlighted by me in my presentation so that they can know that this is the word which they want to be for the auditors to give the more power to the auditors. Now moving to the next is amendment into the maintaining of backup. I mean, you are doing the books of accounting, but you are not taking the backups. This is not done. Previously, they have said that you have to maintaining the backup on the periodical basis. Now, the important is they want you to take the backup of books of accounts by the company on daily basis. So I have highlighted on daily basis, which was previously it's a periodical basis. So the rule 3 subsection 1, they said the books of accounts should remain accessible all the times in India. 3 subsection 5 बोलता है if you are maintaining and available your book of accounts, you have to maintain the backup of these books of accounts and on server on daily basis. अभी periodical basis नहीं चलेगा. Even in the cases where the books are maintained at a place outside India, even if you are maintaining it place outside India, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था एमसीए का नोटिफिकेशन फॉरेन कंपनीज पे म्यूटेटिस म्यूटेंडिस पे एप्लीकेबल होता है, वैसे ही रूल 3 सबसेक्शन 5 बोलता है कि आपको बैकअप मेंटेन करना पड़ेगा इवन इफ यू आर मेंटेनिंग द बैकअप outside the India. So these are the very small substitution of words in the amendment in the rule 3, but that is very important. First, all the times, and second, on daily basis, you have to take the backup. Moving to the next topic, service provider. In this case, there are the major, I will focus on the every service provider. 3 subsection 6, there are the disclosure requirement, especially in case of the service provider. वो सब requirement previously भी था, but there is an amendment, additional disclosure. Now अभी तक आप जो disclosure दे रहे थे as a service provider that you are giving, it is important, it is good, but now you need to give the additional disclosure. What are the basic disclosure? The name of the service provider, ये पहले भी था. The internet protocol address of service provider. I am keep telling you, everyone is focusing on the IP service provider. वो आपको अब देना ही है. The location of the service provider wherever applicable. Now, two last points in which the amendments are done, especially for the service provider, where the books of accounts and other books and papers are maintained on a cloud. Such address provided by the service provider. अभी आपको पता लगा होगा कि what is the difference? The books of accounts हम दे रहे हैं ना, but now the books and papers. Suppose if you are maintaining your payroll register on the cloud. So now आपको ये जो payroll register, because in these cases आप अपना छोटा-छोटा अलग fixed assets register बनाएंगे, payroll register GST का अलग register बनाएंगे, that you will not provide. So now the companies of the service provider need to submit along with the books of account, books and paper which are maintained on the cloud, or we can say on the electronic mode. And the last, it is insertion into the point, the detail where the service provider is located outside India. तो आपको ये बताना पड़ेगा the name and address of the person in control of the books of accounts in India. किसके पास में वो control है उस person का, मुझे name, address and IP का details मुझे चाहिए पड़ेगा if the company is located outside India. So now they know that the transaction is flowing from the outside India to the India. They know what is the route of flowing the transaction. So now they are putting the restrictions on even if you are located outside India, boss, we want कि आपने किसके साथ में books of accounts रखा हुआ है. What is the name, address and IP address of that person along with whom this books of accounts and books and papers, books of accounts भी, books and papers भी, everything is available in India, with whom it is available, वो आपको बताना पड़ेगा. So these are the amendments जो हमको rule 3 subsection 1 में बताया, rule 3 subsection 5 में बताया, rule 3 subsection में बताया, that is 3 subsection 6 is especially applicable for the service provider. So this is the amendments in the rule 3, which is कहीं ना कहीं support the MCA का notification. Now moving to the next topic, audit trail. अभी audit trail आपको maintain करना है. अभी उसमें दोनों की responsibility है. Both the persons are responsible. The management of the company is also responsible, and auditor is responsible for two different things. So now first we will discuss what is the management the responsibility for the audit trail. Then we will discuss about the auditor's responsibility on the audit trail, and which is mentioned into the provision to rule 3 subsection 1. So first start with the management ka responsibility. So what is the management ka responsibility? Management responsibility is very simple. The MCA notification is applicable from the first day of April 2023. So the management is responsible. Now onwards, they have to use only that accounting software which has the features of recording audit trail, creating an audit log, changes in the books of account with the date and the IP address who made these changes. And very important, I am telling you, make a note of it. The function ensure that the audit trail cannot be disabled. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि accounting software has the features of maintaining the audit log. वो तो सभी accounting software करते हैं, but it does not have the button to disable that audit trail. नहीं तो क्या मतलब निकलेगा MC के notification का? If they have a disable button function, जब तक आपको मन हुआ आपने enable किया, and during the जब भी आपको changes करने हैं for that particular period, you are disable that function and आपने अपने changes किए and again you make it enable. So उसमें MCA wants कि that accounting software में function cannot be, the disabled function should be there in that accounting software. So the management responsibility is very simple. Now onwards from 1st April 2023, you have to be very careful for choosing that accounting software. अभी lot of companies जो छोटी companies है, because it is applicable on small companies also, the small companies are struggling very much because अभी आपने तो बोल दिया, MCA told कि भाई आपको you have to choose that accounting software, but to switching from the old accounting software to the new accounting software is not a joke. They need some time. They need the inputs, lot of inputs, lot of clarification on the audit trail. On the accounting software, it includes lot of IT technical technicality कि हमको कैसे, and वो भी 8 साल का log maintain करना for each and every transaction का. So it is not very simple for everyone, because especially it's for the small companies or a one-person companies, how the switch for only for this MCA notification. पर करना तो पड़ेगा because now as a management आपकी responsibility है कि आपको अब ऐसा ही accounting software choose करना पड़ेगा. You may need lot of efforts for making the modification in accounting software, but करना पड़ेगा because this is only the time to digitize the India and digitize the accounting. Now moving along with this accounting software, we have to be careful even in case of if we have, in case the management is now moving toward digitized, so accounting software may have companies know the every transaction is routed through the foreign companies or the foreign countries. So in the last point, if you notice, they especially focus the accounting software may be hosted or maintained in India or outside India, क्योंकि बहुत सारी जो फॉरेन में कंपनीज उसमें आप जोहो वो भी यूज करते हो, तो उसमें भी उन्होंने बोला है कि आपको कंपनी इज मेंटेन दैट सॉफ्टवेयर व्हिच हैव these features of SAS, which are the software as a service or a cloud based service provider. So this is the जो MCA के नोटिफिकेशन में उन्होंने 4 पॉइंट बोले हैं. द मैनेजमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो पॉइंट को ध्यान में रखते हुए यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट योर अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर. अभी तक नहीं था आपके अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर में, एज यू आर द स्मॉल कंपनी और SME या जो भी है 1% कंपनी है, भाई मैं तो नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मैं थोड़ी ना इतना बड़ा अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर में पैसा डालूंगा तो पड़ेगा, because now the MCA is very strict and make it compulsory for all the type of the companies. So management now be careful for choosing the accounting software. Moving to the next topic, अभी तक हमने पढ़ा मैनेजमेंट का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. अभी साथ ही साथ ये जो है इट विल आल्सो क्रिएट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑन द ऑडिटर्स. अभी मैनेजमेंट को तो बता दिया भाई आपको क्या क्या चीजें मेंटेन करनी है. नाउ अब ऑडिटर्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एज एन ऑडिटर, नाउ दे गिव अ लॉट ऑफ power to the auditors to create a dominance in the market. Now company पे रोब जमाने का टाइम आ गया है, but as well as along with that auditors का responsibility भी है in reporting in the audit report. अब आपको आपकी audit report में you have to maintain, you have to mention this, the compliance or the non-compliance. So the amendment into the rule 11G of the company's audit and the auditor's rule, the insertion of clause G, ये एक नया clause इन्होंने ऐड किया है that shows us the auditors का responsibility in terms of reporting. जब आप आपकी audit report देते हो तो आपको ये आपकी responsibility है, you have to report because of the insertion of 11G. Where the companies in respect of financial year commencing from 1st April has used accounting software and maintaining its books of accounts which is operated throughout the year. ये जो चेंज था throughout the year, ये आपको रूल्स ऑफ द अकाउंट्स में मैंने आपको बताया था. तो यही चीज आपको रिपोर्ट में, ऑडिटर्स की रिपोर्ट में यू हैव टू मेंशन. Second, the audit trail feature has not been tampered and the audit trail has been preserved by the company as per the statutory requirement. And now I told you, now the company doesn't have the opportunity. It is the statutory requirement. जैसे आप दूसरे statutory फॉलो करते हैं, आपको रिटर्न फाइल करना है, जीएसटी का जो आपको इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल करना है, ये सब स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट है. सिमिलरली स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट बन गया है. तो ऑडिटर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है फ्रॉम द 1 अप्रैल की आपको बताना है कि कंपनी ने ये अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर यूज किया है. एडिट लॉग इज क्रिएटेड थ्रू आउट द ईयर. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने वो मेंटेन किया, अनेबल किया, डिसेबल किया. This will not work, boss. Now you have to operate this throughout the year. And the same thing is mentioned in the auditor's report. What you can make into the reports. There are the various, case studies kind, you can say the +1, -1. So I will tell you these are the things which you have to report in the audit report. So the auditor is expected to verify the aspects. क्या आपको एज एन ऑडिटर आपको ध्यान देना है? So you have to ask, these are the main 4 questions. Lot of questions you can maintain, but out of my research, whether the audit trail feature is configured, that is disabled or tempered. ये पहला क्वेश्चन आपको पूछना है. दूसरा configured है तो second you have to ask whether enabled or operated throughout the year. Secondly, अगर इसका भी क्वेश्चन yes है, then you have to move ahead. Whether all transactions are recorded, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि भैया मैंने तो अपना पेरोल और फिक्स्ड एसेट किसी और को दिया हुआ है, the third party is maintaining it. That is the reason I'm not doing it. This is my other group companies. So मैं यहाँ पे एक कंपनी में मेंटेन कर रहा हूँ, उस कंपनी में मेंटेन नहीं कर रहा. No boss. All the transactions have to be recorded in the accounting software. Whether the audit trail has been preserved as per statutory record for record retention. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि whenever we want you to access on the audit trail, it is not available. No, you have to show us what is the audit trail. So these are the basic which the auditors need to verify the aspects in respect to the audit trail. Now, what is the auditor's approach? Auditor's approach is, auditor's approach includes वही जो एमसीए ने बताया, वही 4 W's को आपको यहाँ पे फॉलो करना है. आपको कैसे भी फॉलो कर सकते हो. आईटी कंट्रोल के थ्रू कर सकते हो, द एप्लीकेशन एंड द वेब पोर्टल के थ्रू कर सकते हो, सरप्राइज चेक जाके करना चाहो तो सरप्राइज चेक कर सकते हो. यू वांट टू कि कंपनी से यू वांट टू टेक अ प्रिंट आउट ऑफ द ऑडिट ट्रेल, दैट यू कैन गो. अगर सपोज कीजिए हम सैप यूज करते हैं, हमें नहीं पता, हमारा तो कोई और थर्ड पार्टी वेंडर है, can go through the third party vendor. We don't mind. हम वैसे कर सकते हैं, सरप्राइज चेक कर सकते हैं, फिजिकल प्रिंट आउट लेना चाहे वो ले सकते हैं. The keeping of mind of the 4 W's, because the ICAI is focusing on the 4 W's. This is the basic 4 pillars of this audit trail, which the auditors help us to report. हमारी ऑडिटर्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि हम इस स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट को रिपोर्ट करें. बट रिपोर्ट करने से पहले व्हाट इज अवर अप्रोच टुवर्ड्स द कंपनीज एंड द कंपनीज मैनेजमेंट. सो दीज आर द ऑडिट अप्रोच फॉर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द ऑडिट ट्रेल. Also, you can ensure about the completeness and the accuracy of the audit trail. कि आप जो कर रहे हो उसका भी मुझे चेक करना है. आपने तो ऑडिट ट्रेल या ऑडिट लॉग दे दिया, बट वो ऑडिट ट्रेल में तो कोई मॉडिफिकेशन, बिकॉज जब भी कोई इंडिया में आता है so there the auditor also have to verify the audit log which is provided by the management, which is provided by the company, is complete and accurate. आधा दे दिया, so to misguide the auditors वैसे नहीं होना चाहिए. So always it should be complete and accurate. An audit trail is expected restricted to authorized representatives. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. The access should be given to each and every person so that वो उठा के delete करते जा रहे हैं. The audit log is created by the accounting software, but the person is created the created that deleted that edit log या audit trail. वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So it is restricted to the authorized representatives या जो भी the person who is accountable उसको ही उसका access होना चाहिए. So इसमें आपको ये ध्यान रखना चाहिए the guidance note, the rule interplay the role of 143, rule 11G and the guidance note जो audit trail में आया है. So you have to all these are MCA का notification play a interplay role. So you should be careful of applying this thing. Audit का rule, section 143 Companies Act, rule 11 of the auditors rule, as well as the guidance note essay, वो भी आपको applicable पूरा mind में रखना चाहिए. अभी आप now we are focusing कि जब आप auditors जो है वो qualifications क्या दे सकता है. When you come to know कि यहाँ पे हमको कोई audit trail नहीं मिल रहा है या फिर books of accounts are not accessible, this is the qualification. Books of available but no backup of invoices or voucher, that is the qualification. Backups are maintained on physically but not on servers. No, अब कोई भी चीज मैन्युअली नहीं चलेगी. Everything should be electronic mode and digitized. Then backup server is not physically located in India. This is also the qualification which auditors can give. Backups are done weekly. Why? हमें बोला गया है the backup should be done on a daily basis. If you come to know कि backups जो है वो weekly basis पे चल रहा है, this is again the qualification. Backup done on daily except a few days when server was down. No, now it is not allowed कि आपका server down हो गया, server जल गया, ये हो गया. Now these excuses will not work now on boards. Backup have to done on a daily basis. आपको करना ही है. अगर नहीं कर पा रहे तो ऑडिटर क्वालिफिकेशन देगा कि आपने मेंटेन किया बट कुछ दिन आपने मेंटेन नहीं किया. Then we can also give some instances like audit trail feature was disabled for one or two account, like fixed assets का जो सॉफ्टवेयर है उसका audit trail तो नहीं है, बाकी सबका audit trail है. No, it is again the qualification and the modification in the auditor's report. The auditor's trail feature is not operating effectively. Accounting software is maintained by the third party and auditor is unable to access. आपने third party को दिया but accessible ही नहीं है auditors को. So what is the use of it? So again the auditor gives a qualification for this. No? So migration of software, this is a very common excuse. मैं ये software use करा था, this will not work and now I am switching or migrating to the another accounting software. So we don't have the audit log of all that period जिसमें हमने वो software use किया. No, these ठीक है, company will give the excuse, but the auditor have to give the qualification on these things. Auditors accept करेगा, but as well as gives the qualification for the same thing. Now, this is the last audit documentation. The auditors may document ये जितना भी उसका क्वालिफिकेशन है, जो भी उसका ऑब्जर्वेशन है, रिपोर्टिंग है, उसको ऐसे 230 बोलता है, उन सब का आपको ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करना है. सो आई टोल्ड यू कंपनी का है, उसका रूल, उसके बाद में ऑडिटर्स का रिपोर्टिंग उसको कभी करनी है, क्वालिफिकेशन उसको कब कब देना है. नाउ आई एम सेइंग यू ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन. ऑडिटर्स को जो डॉक्यूमेंट करना है, जो उसने ऑडिट ट्रेल में जो भी उसने देखा है, जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स कलेक्ट किए हैं, द ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन एज पर एसे 230. नाउ इट इज ऑफ द एंड ऑफ द स्लाइड. आई ट्राइड टू कवर make this the very dry topic to make them very interesting and try to give you the more exposure as a company, as an auditor. So this is the only FAQs, only 4 FAQs which are frequently asked on the ICA ka site. what are the consequences? ठीक है, मैं तो कंपनी बोलेगी ठीक है ना, एमसी का नोटिफिकेशन है, बट आई विल नॉट बॉदर अबाउट इट. सो कंपनी ऑडिटर को बताना चाहिए, बॉस, नाउ इट इज द वायलेशन ऑफ द सेक्शन 128 and now it is the applicable for the ready for the to pay the penalty which is left from 50,000 to 5 lakh. So in case if you are maintaining the manual basis, तो क्या ये एमसीए का नोटिफिकेशन एप्लीकेबल होता है? नो. अगर आप अभी भी लाला कंपनी में जी रहे हो और अभी तक हैंड रिटन मेंटेन करते हो, तो आपके ऊपर ये एमसीए का नोटिफिकेशन नहीं एप्लीकेबल होता. And two last questions in which they ask, if a company logs on edit today will also require adjustment, whether they will not come into this audit? No. सो आपको 23-24 के अगर आप 23-24 का करते हो 23-24 का, यू नीड एन ओपनिंग बैलेंस ना. सो इट इज दे आर नॉट सब्जेक्ट फॉर द 22-23, इवन वी नीड एन ओपनिंग बैलेंस. Can edit log be enabled or disabled at any during their? So this is very important and FAQ which is asked from the ICI side कि आप ये enable and disabled अब नहीं कर सकते हो. The accounting software should not have the disabled button. So it is the violation and the auditor अपनी report में उसका qualification दे देगा. So now it is, I am ending up my very important topic and MCA notification, and try to hope I do the justice with the topic and try to cover all the MCA ka rules and MCA ka notification and the Companies Act. So I would like to thanks to the ICI for giving me an opportunity and an immense pleasure to give or deliver my knowledge on the audit trail. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apurvi ji. We have two questions, if you can take up. It is like say Kalpana ji from Jaipur. She's asking what sort of reporting is required for backdated entries.
So now you have to say and give the qualification in the auditor's report कि you are maintaining the audit trail, but you have identified these are the backdated entries with these supporting. This comes under the qualification with the note as per the essay and the documentation कि the audit trail maintain किया हुआ है आपने, but इसमें addition and notification. So this is the qualification which auditors need to give.
And another question is from Piyush from Mumbai. He's asking how to find out whether any accounting software has audit trail feature compulsory enabled. Just the declaration by the software vendor is enough, or the question is very long. He's also further asking why does MCA not publish the list of software who have audit trail enabled, or can ICI do something for the benefit of these firms? And why is the responsibility only on the auditor's head? I think this is, ma'am, you can answer how to find out whether any accounting software has audit trail feature compulsory enabled.
Okay.
Does the declaration by the vendor is enough, or is there a list published by the MCA or ICI?
Nice. Very good question and very relevant question. It is very relevant question how you can know the accounting software has the enable or the disable button. So I all the मैं आपको बता दूं सर, ये जो वर्किंग है, ये जो नोटिफिकेशन है, वो लास्ट ईयर भी आया था. तो एवरी अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर जितने भी है, टैली है, जोहो, सबने इस पे काम चालू कर दिया था, बिकॉज दे नो कि इट इज द स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट. तो आपको कैसे पता करना है? When you go into the accounting software, आप टैली में भी जाओगे तो आपको वहाँ पे बटन मिलता है जिसमें क्लियरली लिखा रहता है कि enable और disable the audit trail, और as well as you can check with the vendors. और अगर वेंडर की तात्पर्य में आपको विश्वास नहीं है, so you can create your own log and you can ask, आपने वेंडर में चेंज किया, simply vendor, please provide me the audit trail, because the tally में नहीं था. They come with the tally prime because of all these things. आप जो अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर का बात कर रहे हैं, I will if personally I can help you, we can connect. I will tell you, I have personally the list of the accounting software which जिसमें ये feature है, जिसमें नहीं है. Because every accounting software, एक बात बता दूं सर, हर accounting software में ये feature होता है कि audit log create होगा ही होगा. It is important कि enable और disable का बटन उसमें होता है, and people prefer to disable that button. So now it is your responsibility कि आप जाके उस vendor को बोले कि आपको ये बटन को disable नहीं करना है, modification and customization नहीं चलेगा. So now your responsibility to take the NDC from the accounting software vendor that this will not allow. This will create a qualification. In case, sir, I will also help you. And आपको बता दूं, ICA also, you know, it's a new notification. ICA अभी इस पे बहुत सारा डिस्कशन चल रहा है. क्विकली कोई भी पर्सन इतना बड़ा अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर चेंज नहीं कर सकता है इन अ डे टाइम. So the ICI also discussing with the MCA कि ये सारी चीजें कैसे होंगी.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It is said that if you develop a passion for learning, you'll never cease to grow. On behalf of the Women's and Young Member Excellence Committee, I, CA Vaishali Jain, would like to thank our own CA Preeti Salva ji, who is a symbol of women empowerment. She is chairperson WYMEC, SRSB, and vice chairman BSC. We also thank our vice chairman, CA Abhay Chajerji, for organizing such a knowledgeable webinar whereby one can learn continuously and providing opportunities for the young talent. Audit trail is actually a need of ours, and from the time it has been made compulsory for companies, it is actually everybody's concern. We heartfully thank CA Apurva Pyasi ji for taking up this topic so beautifully. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this knowledgeable session. I now call upon CA Manasvi Chadha ji for taking up the session further. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishali. Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Manasvi Chheda. Thank you, Vaishali, and thank you, committee, for giving me this opportunity to introduce the speaker for our next session on self-esteem and self-confidence, CA Karishma Solanki. She is a part of the Deal Advisory, M&A and PE Tax Department at KPMG. She has done her articleship with KPMG in the same department and continued there post-qualification. She has more than 7 years of work experience in transaction structuring, including mergers and acquisitions, due diligence reviews, and tax and regulatory compliance and advisory services. Now, I would like to please welcome Karishma ma'am. Please take forward the topic. Thank you.
Thank you for the brief introduction. So today's topic now that I'm going to take is self-esteem and self-confidence. Though not very technical in terms of topic, but definitely very important in terms of personal and personality traits of a person. So when we talk about self-esteem and self-confidence, many people have a conception that self-esteem is same as self-confidence, which is actually not the case. So in today's session, I have tried to cover briefly the topic of self-esteem, what self-esteem actually is, how can we develop self-esteem, how can we improve on our self-esteem, how does self-confidence help in developing self-esteem, and the ways in which we can improve on self-confidence. I hope you'll find this topic interesting and engaging. So let's just begin straight away. So before I talk about the concept of self-esteem and self-confidence, it is very important to understand the concept of self. Yes, that's true. You heard it correct. There is a term named as self-concept. Self-concept is basically an individual's knowledge of who he or she is. Self-concept is our personal knowledge of who we are, which includes all our thoughts, feelings about ourselves, physically, personally, or socially. So what we believe of ourselves, what we think we are, is the concept of self. It might not be very often that we think for ourselves that, okay, today I've done a good thing. Oh no, today I shouldn't have done this thing. I have hurt somebody perhaps, or maybe I should try to improve on what I have done today or how I have behaved today in a particular manner. So the concept of self is just as simple as knowing what we are, knowing who we are, how we react in certain times. So this is very important. The concept of self, the awareness about the concept of self is really important if we want to better understand what self-esteem and what self-confidence means and how can we improve on those two traits. Well, the components of self-concept are ideal self. The ideal self is a person you want to be. It's who you envision yourself to be. So as we grow up, we come into our conscious and we understand life. We understand how people are. We understand different personalities. And amongst those, we in our minds, we might not say it to someone, we might not say it to ourselves either, but then we do have an ideal position or ideal personality in our minds whom we want to become like. In our mind, say maybe we follow some superstar, we follow some businessman, we admire some politician, and in a way we try to or we want to, it's a desire to become like them, if not as famous as them or if not as successful as them, but at least some personality traits of theirs is that we want to adopt ourselves. Now, as I said earlier, this is not something which is very clearly evident unless you are very well aware of yourself. But this is very clearly evident by your actions or by your thought processes. So, very important to identify your ideal self, because once you know how you want to be or where you want to reach, that's the first step to reaching at that point. So very important concept, it is called as very important component of self concept is the ideal self, the awareness of who you want to be, who you envision yourself to become. Second very important component here is self-image. How you see yourself at this moment in time. I'm not talking about the past, I'm not talking about the future. Whatever has happened in the past has happened, you can't perhaps change it. Whatever is going to happen in the future, you're already preparing for that. So the self-image, the term when I use self-image, it is only at this point in time, at this very second, what are you thinking of yourself? Are you happy with yourself? Are you proud of yourself because you've done something really good today? Something which is very much in the present moment is known as self-image. How you see yourself at this very moment. Do you think you're very miserable, you're very messy today, you don't want to face the world today, there have been so many things which have gone wrong, or on the contrary, you want to meet your friends, you want to tell them what's happening because you're so happy because you have achieved something. So these are the different modes in everybody's lives. Anybody would be facing any extreme, any moderate situations. So self image is very much regarding the present moment. And then finally, we come to the topic of self esteem, which is also very important component of self concept. Self esteem is how much you like, you value, and you accept yourself. Now, there's a difference between liking, valuing, and accepting yourself. How much do you like yourself? As I said, there'll be times when we are not very happy with how life's shaping or how we are acting in say someone's not very happy with the job he or she is in, or someone is really proud of that, okay, I have got this job on my merit, so I'm really happy about it. So valuing yourself is something that uh, the way we look at ourselves. Are we proud of our achievements? Do we want something more while not being disheartened with what we have? So, this is what value is. How much you like yourself. Again, liking is, we can't say that you hate yourself, but at times we are stuck up in certain situations because of our own selves and we blame ourselves. We say, why would I do this? And that's why I hate myself. I shouldn't be doing this. So that's when we say, how much do you like yourself? Some people are very self-centered, and they like themselves too much that they don't want to see their mistakes. Even that extremity is not really good. So self-esteem is basically to do with how much you like yourself, how much you value, and how much you accept. Now, acceptance is the key to success, is what we've been hearing so far, so long. But what does this essentially mean? It means to accept the situations we are in. It means to accept the failures. It means to face the failures. And acceptance, when you are happy, you need to accept that, yes, I am happy, I should enjoy this moment. Because sometimes there are people that when happy moments come, they think about the future, and or they think about the past, that okay, I earned 10 rupees today, but yesterday I earned only 5. So what's the point? But they don't enjoy the 10 rupees that they have earned today, and they don't hope that they would earn say 50 tomorrow. So that's very important key, that is acceptance. And it is very important in self-esteem, because the way you accept yourself, that is how you're going to build your self-esteem. If you accept that, yes, today you have done something which is not as satisfying, then you know that tomorrow you need to do something better than this. So that's acceptance, and that's how it helps. So these are the three components of the concept of self, and now we deep dive a little bit more into the concept of self-esteem. So what self-esteem is? Self-esteem refers to a person's overall sense or his or her value or worth. As I've been talking about value or worth, it is something to do with the present situation, because in the present you might be feeling really miserable about yourself because things are not getting in place, or you are frustrated because say for instance you were appearing for an exam and you haven't scored really well, and you will not get into a really good college. If that's how you're seeing yourself, it's called temporary valuing yourself, because that one thing does not define you. But when you look at your journey, when you look at your journey of the entire life till date, what have you done? What have you achieved? Have you helped others? Have you made your parents proud? Are your friends happy with you? Are you yourself happy with you? These are the little considerations which play a key role in what self-esteem is, because we need to understand, and from time to time we need to evaluate how we look at ourselves. Because if at all the times if we are going to look down to ourselves, it is only going to lower our self-esteem. We are going to think that we ourselves are useless people, not of any help to anybody, not worth at all. And that is very bad, because in those situations we'll not be able to face the things which otherwise are very easy to face and to cope with. On the contrary, if we say that a person is always so high on valuing his or herself, then probably he's going to develop a kind of attitude which we call as ego or overconfidence. And both of these are not at all helpful in personal or professional life, because you need to know where you stand and you need to improve every day. There is no person on this earth who is 100% perfect and where there is absolutely no scope of improvement. Each and every one of us lack in something or the other, and that's no no reason to think low on ourselves. We can improve, we should improve. In fact, we must improve ourselves. So having extreme measurements of say valuing a person's worth will not help. We should be ready to face the reality. And why I'm saying so much about self-esteem is because in this world of so much of competition and the race to first get a professional degree, then probably get a good job, in the job then again to please the seniors, get a promotion, secure a good pay package, etc. There's so much to do in life that we often forget the importance of our own selves, self-esteem. which is so really important, which is going to stay with you for the lifetime. Your job is going to change, your bosses, your colleagues are going to change, but you yourself are going to be remaining with yourself the entire life. So how do you think of yourself plays a really significant role in your life? So that's about a little brief of self-esteem. Now, as I'm talking about self-esteem so much, it's very important to understand where self-esteem actually come from. Basically, it comes from genetics, family, parents, because that's, and of course, friends, social circumstances, our backgrounds, because our social situations also play a very important role. If in a family, people are going to be very friendly, they're going to talk to us in a manner which we like, if they are going to say, pray for our good, which I'm sure our parents do. So, in that case, we ourselves also feel really good about things. We like to do more, we like to make them proud. And that's when we don't lower our own self-esteem. It really helps because people in our lives can affect how much we feel about ourselves. When they focus on what's good about us and we feel good about ourselves as well. So this is a very important source of what we can say as self-esteem. Second is age, health, and life experiences. Obviously, not everybody's life is all the same. Some might face some misery at very early ages, some might learn eventually with as and when they move on in life. So, obviously, with certain experiences, our self esteem or our self value always alters, and that's an important. There's no denial that with age we learn new things, we get experienced. So it's a no-brainer to say that these things also help build our self-esteem. Secondly, thirdly, there is what we say a personality. Some are really extrovert. They like to talk too much. They like to make friends everywhere they go. People like wherever they go. People like them. That's their personality. That's how they have been brought up, or that's what they've developed in their age. On the other hand, there are people who are a little bit introvert. They don't like to talk much. They only talk work at times. They talk what is required. They don't talk much. So these are also the things which help to understand where we stand on our self-esteem, because at times there are situations where introverts are low in self-esteem. That's why they don't want to face the world. But I'm not saying that's always the case, because I myself have met so many introverts who are really high on the self-esteem. They're really focused on their goals. They're really happy about what they do. It's just their nature that they are introverts. So that's about the sources. Then okay, then these two are really important: the reaction to others and or our overall behavior, and the thoughts that we have in our head. Maybe not always do we think about what we're thinking of ourselves, but inside, if we take a 2 minutes, 5 minutes pause just to reconsider what we've been doing, we always know that there is an inner voice which says, okay, this is correct, or okay, this is not happening, this is not very good. So these two are very important things on the sources of self-esteem. Where does it come from and how can we develop it? Now, if I were to say that a person is low on self-esteem, how do I identify that? There are behavioral traits to identify that a person is low on his or her self esteem. The first one is criticizing yourself or blaming yourself. If for every situation in your life, whether good or bad, and most of the time bad or undesirable situations, if a person is criticizing or blaming himself all the times, then that person is really low on self-esteem, and he or she is not evaluating the situation or circumstances very practically. like he or she should. Second thing is that these kind of people avoid challenges. Why do they do so? Willingly, unwillingly, they do it to avoid facing failure. They fear failure, and that's why they avoid any challenges. Second, second is this one. Okay. Thirdly, focus on weakness. As I said, some people who are low on self-esteem, they always think about the negativities or something which they are lacking and they don't want to see, or they don't tend to see the positive side of a situation. Because all the situations, I'm telling you, in all the situations, even I have practically experienced this. Even in the most worst of the situations, we have some ray of hope that we can come out of it and we can face it. There is a positive side to every situation, but the people who are really low on self-esteem, they generally tend to focus only on the downsides of a situation. Then we have a trait of a person who apologizes a lot. As we have seen these, that the person criticizes or blames his or herself, focuses only on the weakness. So this is again related to the same, because that person thinks that he or she has done something wrong, or he or she is always wrong. That's why they have a tendency of apologizing a lot. They say sorry a lot, whether or not required. So this is another behavioral trait of people who are low on self-esteem. Finally, we see that these kind of people have a feeling like they don't deserve to be happy. If we see that all these traits are somewhere or the other interrelated and interconnected, each of them is like a source and outcome, cause and effect of each other. So feeling like they don't deserve to be happy, it comes because they are blaming themselves for something undesirable that has happened. So why I'm showing all these characteristics is that when you start gaining these characteristics, or when you start behaving in certain fashion that replicates any of these or all of these or occasionally some of these or not, you can self-replicate, can self-understand and evaluate your actions to see that if you're going into the zone of low self-esteem, then you can do something to improve it, then you can take a u-turn in this situation. So these are important traits to understand from a personal development perspective. Now, I've been talking a lot about self-esteem, where does it come from, and what are the behavioral traits of people who are low on self-esteem. So what can then be done in order to boost self-esteem? First one here is regular exercising. It really helps because you can benefit from getting physical instead of just sitting in front of TV, mobile computers, or laptops, because our lives now have become so sedentary. We are so busy. First, we're busy studying, then we are busy with our jobs, our own practices, or our businesses. So we hardly get time, or we hardly tend to take out time on regular exercising. A recent review of 38 international studies indicated that physical activity alone, I'm saying physical activity alone without any other things, improves alone. This alone can improve the self-esteem and thereby improve the concept, the self-concept. So if you don't do, so I have listed currently 6, 7 items which help in boosting your self-esteem. But if you don't do any of them and you only do regular exercising, getting physical, that alone is going to take you a long way in improving self-esteem. The second thing is to focus on self compassion. Now, what is self compassion? Self compassion is treating ourselves with kindness and acceptance instead of being extremely harsh on ourselves. We need to treat ourselves with the same kindness we would extend to a friend. When we have friends and a family and our colleagues at work, we tend to behave with them in certain manner and in a manner which is good, which is not very bad. You can't be shouting at your friends or your family or your colleagues. No one's going to talk to you if you're going to behave that way. Same applies to the behavior of your own self. And some people are angry or very unhappy. They tend to give up on food because they're angry. They don't want to, they isolate themselves. They don't talk to anybody. They don't go out. They don't want to travel. They don't want to spend money. So these are the things which, in a way, you are telling yourself that you yourself are not that important. You need to be punished, which is absolutely incorrect. This is only going to worsen things. It's never going to improve. So we should focus on self-compassion. We should treat ourselves equally important and equally kindly as we do onto others. Third one here is to avoid social comparison. Now we live in the era of social media platforms, which are so more entangled into our lives than ever before. We can't live without a cell phone. We need to be on WhatsApp for sure because that has become a primary means of communication, and people are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and these all things actually make you compare yourselves with others. I don't say comparison is a bad thing. Comparison can be really good if you take it in a competitive spirit, if you take it in a way that improves who you are. So definitely comparison is very nice. Being on these all social media platforms also benefits a lot. It has immense of positives, but it's up to us to what extent we accept these things, to what extent we make social media comparisons. Because when we compare ourselves, there can be two situations. We might think, oh, that person is so better than me, let me improve myself. But another way of looking at it would be that, oh, that person is so good, and look at me, I'm just nobody in front of him or her, and I just cannot do anything about this now. And then we eventually get into the zone of frustration, depression, stress, anxiety, which is all so unnecessary and uncalled for. So we should try to avoid unhealthy comparisons. We can definitely promote healthy competitions because it's really good for your professional development. We could use the energy instead to improve ourselves rather than comparing with others. Okay. The fourth point here is to help others. This many of you would have noticed when you help others, you yourself feel so good about it because you have probably given something to someone, maybe someone needy, someone who is underprivileged, or it can be as simple as helping your mom cook dinner for for the night. Even that small help which you've done to your mom, you are going to like it. This is something which I cannot express in words. This is something more which can be felt. When you help others, you're going to yourself like it. Practically, this is something which I would recommend each and every one of you all to experience. This point here is to invest in our hobbies. A hobby, when we were children, we used to go swimming, we used to go skating, we used to go for painting classes, for some music sessions, we used to learn dancing. These were when we were small, these used to be our pastimes because we liked it, right? But as we grow up, as I said earlier, maybe I'm repeating myself, but as we grow earlier, we tend to give importance too much to getting a professional degree, then getting a job, then getting a promotion, then maybe switching a job for better prospects, etc. And somewhere we forget to follow our passion, to follow our hobby. I'm not saying once you've gotten a degree, you can just leave everything and go on to follow your dreams or follow what you like to do. I'm not saying that, because from practical perspective, there are situations where you need to get a job, you need to earn, maybe because you are the sole earner of your family, maybe because you need to get independent. But along with doing these things, what we can do is practice our hobbies, maybe over weekends when we have leaves, or even during weekdays if our work is not very stringent, if our work timings are a bit flexible. Maybe we can pull out half an hour or so, maybe make a small drawing, maybe get us a new pair of skates, go skating somewhere in the nearby club. These are the small things which, how does it help self-esteem? Is that when we do these things by practicing our hobbies, by following our passion, we get this factor of make feel good. It makes ourselves feel good. It makes ourselves give a sense of achievement that okay, we've done something good and something that we like. So it helps in developing self-esteem. Finally, okay, this now here is not an exhaustive list. There are other ways in which self-esteem can be improved, but these are the major ones, and these are practically possible to follow in today's world, in the kind of environment, in the kind of job profile that we as chartered accountants have. These are very much doable and achievable. So the final point here is to improve on self-confidence. So when we improve our self-confidence, it contributes to improving our self-esteem. We value ourselves more when we are self-confident, and we'll see that why. So what self-confidence is? Self-confidence is a state of being clear-headed, either that a hypothesis or a prediction is correct, or that a chosen course of action is the best or most effective. When do we feel confident? When we have to face something, face a situation, we face someone, say facing an exam, facing a job interview. Confidence is the thought that we have that okay, this interview is something that I'm going to crack, or this exam is something that I'm going to definitely pass with flying colors. That thought process, that anticipation, and that manifestation is often known as self-confidence. And when we anticipate something good to happen, that's when our chances, the likelihood of something happening positively, of getting a positive outcome, significantly increases. And that's why we so often give so much importance to self-confidence. So just to good to know, confidence comes from a Latin word fiedere, which means to trust. Therefore, having self-confidence is having trust in oneself. Having trust in oneself in a sense that come what may, you're going to survive. You are going to live up to that situation. You are going to face it and pretty well. So this is what self-confidence as a concept is. Now, obviously, again, we would have ways to improve on self-confidence, and which is very important because when we generally are low in self-confidence, we tend to make mistakes which we would have otherwise not made had we been moderate. Even if we had not been very high on self-confidence, had we been really moderate, we would not do those mistakes. But having a really low self-confidence, we fumble, we get ourselves into trouble unnecessarily. So it's very important to have good self-confidence in oneself. And how do we improve it? First of all, we need to take care of ourselves. Take care as in be mentally and be physically healthy. What does it do? Because when you are not physically healthy, you might not like going out, you might not like facing the world, or if you have some ailment which makes you embarrassed in front of the world, maybe you have got some deep scar or wound because of some doing of yours, you might not feel really confident facing the world. If I would have had lots of blemishes or pimples on my face and all, maybe I would not like to come on this video to talk to you all. I'm just giving an example. So there are things with in which there are situations in which our physical appearances matter, maybe not to the world but to ourselves. So it is very important that physically we are healthy enough to face the world in our own mind. See, I'm not saying that people might always be judging on how you look. That is a separate topic. You have got nothing to do with what people have got to say. But in your own head, you might not feel very well that, oh, okay, today I'm not looking good. I don't want to on my video. I don't know how people are going to think about me. And all those questions will start pouring in your head, which can definitely be avoided if you are already so confident about your health. You're really healthy, you can face the world. So diet plays a very important role. As I said, exercise also does. Now what about mental health? We don't often talk about mental health, but meditation and sleep, and in many cases even yoga, these are the things which keep you mentally sound. When I say mentally sound, I'm not only talking about, say, some mental condition where you go mad, where you go insane or something like that. But if you are constantly thinking of some negative things, or if you're constantly looking at the negative side, if you're depressed, if you're frustrated, these are the mental conditions which also take your self-esteem, self-confidence to the minimum possible. So these are the things which you can improve on by way of meditation. Have a good sleep. You can keep the phone aside for an hour and just try to rest. That is one thing which you can practice to improve on self-confidence. Second thing is to practice the positive self-talk. As we saw, the traits of low self-esteem are that people blame themselves for the wrong happening or for the wrongdoings. They criticize themselves. So not always do you need to be critical about yourselves. While being critical about oneself also helps to improve, if we take it in a positive manner. But some positive talks are also very nice. Like, we can just ask ourselves a few questions, such as, why do my family like me? Why do my friends admire me? Why are my colleagues, why are my seniors so happy with me? Why do my siblings look up to me as their role model if they do? These are certain positive things which we can tell ourselves, and just see, immediately it's going to boost your self-confidence. It may be temporary. I'm not saying that's going to stay on for a life, because our mind is such that we need to continuously remind it of the good things that are happening in world, the good times that are happening in our life. We need to continuously remind ourselves that, okay, life is still good, we can keep going. That's when we are going to improve significantly on self-confidence. So typically, this is a practice which you can follow. It's not going to take more than 5 to 10 minutes of your time. You need not tell it to anybody. You need not write it anywhere. Just tell in your mind. Just think about these 4 or 5 things when you go to bed. Okay, today, what is the one thing that I did good? Or what is the one thing that happened very well? Maybe it can be as simple as that, for going to office you had to catch a bus, and you were on your way, and say someone of your friend got you, and you got a ride on bike to your office rather than hustling in the bus. It's a good thing, right? You didn't have to struggle all the way to office. So these are really simple small things, but the more you start valuing these small blessings, the more life's going to be a beautiful place to be. Next is to face your fears. Why do we have to face our fears to feel self-confident? Because when you face your fear, there are going to be two things. You're going to overcome the fear. Next time, you're not going to have the you're not going to again face the same fears in life. You're going to one challenge, if you take that, okay, today I have taken this challenge that I will walk say 10,000 miles or something during this 1 month, or I'm going to reduce at least 1 kg of my weight in this 1 month. It's a challenge for yourself. It's not something which is not doable at all. It's very much doable. It might require some time in planning, in performing, in executive, but once you have faced it, you will never fear it again. What if you don't lose your weight? That's fine. You at least can tell yourself that you tried rather than sitting at home doing nothing about it. You at least tried. What if you didn't lose your weight, but you didn't even gain it? That could be a positive side. So, this is a very small example again, whenever we feel something challenging, this more often than not happens in our work. There might be some new clients which we would be skeptical to take because the work is too large. Maybe you think that you'll not be able to take it up, you will not be able to put things in place, but that can completely be opposite the case. You might do really well, you might learn, if not entire say 10 clients, you might pitch for at least two, but that's going to in a way help. You want to learn something even if you don't pitch, even if you don't get any additional client. While pitching for those clients, you will learn something or the other, and that I'm talking from my personal experience. You should always try to take up new things, but set realistic goals for yourselves, because if you're going to set over realistic goals, then not achieving those goals will put you again into a state of self-criticizing, which should not be the case. You should put up realistic goals, and those which are achievable, you will achieve those. Do things that are good for you. Now, this is something very much similar to what we talked about, the self-compassion concept. We should do things that are good for us. We should try to avoid things that are detrimental to us. As I said, we should face our fears, we should set goals probably, but then the goals should not be so high that in your mind you already know that you're not going to be able to achieve it, and you then again get into this zone of low self-esteem. One study has found that believing in your abilities to build on your personal strength is moderately related to life satisfaction levels. This starts with identifying what those strengths are, then work to make them stronger with engaging them regularly. So if you experiment with something in your life and you say that, okay, I'm going to walk for half an hour in the morning. Let's see, do I get time? Can I work that out? Is that possible with my daily routine? Let me try this for a week. Do I get very tired at night? The next day, am I unable to perform? These are the things which will come up. But once you have done that experiment, once you have done that practice, that exercise for a week's time, you know that okay, it does fit in. Oh no, it does not. Then maybe I'll try for weekends, if not in the weekdays. But if it does fit in the weekdays, I should continue it because I see the benefit myself. So these are the things which you should try to achieve in your life. Okay, so then, yeah, again, these two are the topics which I already spoke about. It's know when you have to say no. This comes especially when you are setting goals for yourselves or when you are setting some challenges for yourselves. You should know when to say no. Okay, out of 5 clients, I'm today going to reach out to 3 clients because I know my capacity that I can cater to 3 clients in a day. If I'm going to stretch myself unnecessarily to the rest of the 2 clients, my performance is going to deteriorate for the 2 clients. And I don't know, maybe because of that pressure of handling the additional clients, the first 3 which I could have done very well, I have now fumbled in that also. So we should ourselves know when we have to say no. Okay, 3 full stop. After this, I'll cater to those other clients also, but probably tomorrow. Today is a complete no for that. That's what we need to understand. We need to understand when we need to say no. And finally, this is again the same thing what I've talked about we need to set realistic goals, because when we set realistic goals, there are two things. Firstly, we achieve those goals more easily than the unrealistic goals, and when we achieve those goals, we get a sense of satisfaction. And next time we set the goals, we can set a little bit more realistic, a little bit unrealistic goals. But because we have got success in these realistic goals, we have that confidence in trying better, bigger things the next time. So very first time, it is suggestive that we don't set really high, ambitious goals. Okay, when we talk about benefits of confidence, it is very evident from a person's behavior. We have that person has a better performance, may it be in his relationships, or may it be in his or her professional career. There's better performance. Second thing is there are healthier relationships, because when you yourself are confident and happy with yourself, you are going to talk to people in that fashion, and that's when you are going to build really healthy relationships with people. You're not going to always be frowning or anxious. It will be normal to talk to people in certain manner. The other benefit of being really confident is openness to try new things, because you are confident that you can take up to some more challenges, maybe realistic ones. You are open to try new things, and when you try new things, that's where you grow, because there's no growth if you are not going to try new things. Then there is resilience, that is, believe in yourself, and you believe that you yourself can enhance your resilience or your ability to bounce back from challenges and adversities. This can come only when you are high on self confidence. Otherwise, you're going to always be self doubting that you cannot do a certain thing, or that certain thing is not for you. Now, just very quickly, just the traits of confident people, how confident people behave, and if you were to consider yourself, do you fall in these, do you have these traits? It's really helpful if you're going to evaluate these. They celebrate other people's success, they don't frown with it, they don't take it as a bad thing, they celebrate it because they know that what they want to achieve themselves they can, so why not celebrate other people's success rather. They are really open-minded, they're optimistic, they have a positive attitude towards life. They are willing to take up to new challenges. This goes without saying. They are decisive. Again, decision making is a really important trait for our life. May it be a professional office work, maybe our personal decisions. There are decisions to be made at every stage of our life. And people with confidence have that good ability of making decisions, because they know even if the decisions go wrong, they know how to face it, they know how to handle it. They are always keen on learning new things, because without learning there's no growth. They admit their mistakes, they accept responsibility, they don't shy away from responsibility. So these are some traits which are good to know, and when you start developing in any of these or all of these, that's when you know that okay, you are somewhere going towards the path of self-confidence. Now moving on, this is the final slide. These are just some traits similar to people having low self-esteem. These are the traits of insecure kind of people who are really low on self-confidence. They judge people and they are jealous of others, because somewhere in their minds they believe that they cannot achieve what other successful people have achieved. So they try to judge them, they are jealous of them. They are close minded, they don't want to accept new things, they're pessimistic, they have a really negative attitude about things, about themselves, about others, about situations. They're afraid to change, they try to hide their flaws. We all have flaws, there's no one who's perfect or flawless. So, but how do we accept our flaws? how do we not shy away with them, and how do we try to improve? That's what we are made of. So the people who try to hide their flaws or try to show that, oh, I'm superior to someone, that's a really prominent trait of insecure people. Then they are indecisive, they act like they know it all, that they are superior to others. They make excuses, they blame others, and they practice procrastination. They try to delay things because they don't want to face the challenges, because they don't want to face the situation. They try to run away simply by procrastinating those things. These are some traits. If you think you are starting to develop these, it's time to say, okay, I can take a U-turn, and you need to then start looking at the positive aspects of the situation. So that was about the topic of self-esteem and self-confidence. If y'all have any queries, y'all can shoot it.
Yeah, very thankful to Karishma ma'am. She has really provided a great insight over the very crucial topic on self-esteem and self-confidence. We have one of the questions coming up from Mr. Sumit Jain from Jaipur. He is asking as to if we criticize others for our own problems, even then other people don't change, even it hurts others, then also there is only choice to criticize ourselves. Then how to deal with this problem?
No, okay. So when there are situations, there would be situations which are in not in control of ourselves, as well as probably not in control of the third party. So rather than criticizing anybody, say criticizing ourselves or criticizing someone else for that situation is not going to help, because you already are in that situation. All you need to do is one, accept that you are in that situation, because acceptance is the key. And two, you need to then try to come out of that situation, because criticizing is only going to make things worse. Maybe you'll tell that person, oh, because of you I'm in this situation, now what should I do? I am left with nothing, I am nowhere. That's going to deteriorate your relationship, and worse, you're not getting any solution out of it also. So first of all, acceptance is the key for sure. And secondly, you need to try to get out of that situation. Until you do not get out of that situation, try to deal with it. Try to learn to adapt to that situation, because sooner or later, as we say, this too shall pass. So every stage, every phase in our life is something that is going to pass. May it be a really good stage, may it be a really low phase in our life. Anything and everything is going to pass, but it's just that when you are in that situation, how you face it, that will make you more confident, or that will break you for the life. So criticizing anybody is never going to help, may it be you or may it be the third person. But accepting the situation, trying to adapt to it. If you don't want to adapt, you better get really fast out of it by your own means. This is what I'd like to say.
Very truly said, ma'am. Now I would like to invite you all to actively participate in a dynamic and insightful question and answer session with our esteemed speaker, CA Karishma Solanki ji. This is really an excellent opportunity for all of us to get engaged and to have one-on-one session, because such type of topics are really very crucial for each one's of life. Therefore, not delaying further, I would like to open the floor for any question and answer coming up from any of the participants. Okay, now I don't see actually any more further questions on this. Anyways, ma'am, it was really a very great session. And as you have rightly said that in each one's of life, there are some phases, ups and downs. There are many situations wherein either the past one, wherein we are not able to get out of it. And because of that, the frustration level and all sorts of a thing um, gets into our life, which leads to low self-esteem. and low self-confidence. Very truly said. And one more thing which you have really said it, that self-esteem, in the self-esteem part, that we should value our own self. Actually, it is very true. If we don't love ourselves, how can we expect the world to love ourselves? That is very true.
Absolutely.
That we should firstly love and care ourselves first, and then only we can expect other people to value us.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So moving ahead, it gives me immense pleasure and gratitude in front of all of you, and deliver a heartful vote of thanks on behalf of women and young members, excellent committee. I really thank Preeti Savla ma'am for giving me this opportunity. It is indeed my privilege of listening to an incredibly inspiring speaker and enlightening on the vital topic of self-esteem. Because on a day-to-day basis, we are engaged in many sorts of a thing, but we don't really care or deep dive into such core things which are very impacting our life. So it was really indeed a very good session. I express my deepest appreciation to our distinguished speaker, CA Karishma Solanki ji, for gracing us with her expertise and wisdom. Thank you for dedicating your time, sharing your profound insights, and shedding light on the significance of the core value self-esteem. Your passion and ability to connect with the audience have truly left an indelible impact on each one's of life. It reminds me one thing as to you have reminded us that inherent worth and value that resides within every individual. So the self-esteem is not an attribute of seeking externally, but actually it is an inherent quality that needs to be nurtured and cultivated from within. And you have really explained the power of positive self-talk, following a passion, exercising, proper intake of food, learning from our setbacks, and provided with valuable tools to enhance our self-esteem. So she has really provided the traits how we can come up and come out of such situations. Even if in our surroundings, people, there are many a times we get negative vibes from people, but it is our own self how we can uh, find out from the negative also some of the positive things. So
Absolutely.
with this, I so in conclusion, I see Preksha Jain once again extend my sincerest gratitude to our esteemed speaker for imparting their education, knowledge and wisdom on the critical topic. Your insights will undoubtedly have a lasting impact on our lives. I also thank to
I think we lost Preksha, but it was really an honor for me to present on this platform. So I'd like to thank Preeti ma'am and the women and young member team to give me this opportunity of
am I
presenting.
audible?
Yes, Preksha, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. There was something, there was a technical disturbance in between. One and all, I thank all the participants for being a part of this grateful session and making this event a memorable one. And ma'am, we would be grateful to see you again on various inspiring topics like this. So thank you all. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Preksha and the team. Look forward to many more such topics and presentations.
Yeah, same here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.